We call it a comfort zone. We say, step outside your comfort zone. Like the comfort zone is a cozy place with pillows and a warm fire. It's not. It's a hole. It's a dank, dark hole where you're just surviving, getting through one day so you can get through the next, 1 year after the next on repeat. Until one day you're on your deathbed and you realized you survived. Congratulations. But you never really lived. You never became what you wanted. You never lived up to your potential. And the thing that kept you in that hole, it wasn't laziness. It wasn't lack of talent. It wasn't bad luck. It was a voice, an ancient voice, a voice that's been running on the same software for 200,000 years. I call him my inner caveman, or affectionately, Bam Bam. And he is very good at his job. His job is to keep you alive, to keep you safe, to keep you right where you are. Because where you are is not dead. And for Bam Bam, not dead is the whole game. Bam Bam is fine living in a hole, living just to exist, because that was pretty much the best you could hope for 200,000 years ago. Humans back then weren't waking up looking to be fulfilled, to find work satisfaction, to have joy in their relationships, to experience financial freedom. They were just trying to make it from one day to the next. That's the best that you could expect then. But that isn't true now. And unfortunately, Bam Bam is still running on the same old program, which is why every time you think of something big, bold, satisfying that you would like to do, that inner voice will tell you all the scary reasons that you shouldn't do it, everything that's wrong with you and why you can't do it. You see, Bam Bam doesn't know that you don't live in a cave anymore, and that's not enough for you. Bam Bam doesn't know the saber-toothed tiger isn't outside, that the real danger isn't death. The real danger is never becoming who you wanted to be, is waking up at 75 and realizing you played it so safe that you missed your whole life. Now, I know this because I almost did. See, my life was I would succeed, then I'd start questioning myself and telling myself I'm not good enough to be here. And my inner caveman would start coming up with all the ways that being successful at this level was dangerous. And it wasn't until I really understood who he is and why he can't run the show that I developed methods for dealing with him and shutting his voice down. Now, some of you know my story. I wanted to be an actress, and I worked and worked both on my craft, the craft of acting, and on approving of myself. Dealing with that I'm not good enough story that we all have. And I was successful. I finally got what I wanted, a contract role on a soap opera, the CBS show Guiding Light. But it was only a matter of months before my inner voice started telling me, who do you think you are to play at this level? Soon after that, I attracted a man into my life that put me down, criticized my every move, everything about me. Now, I say I attracted him because that is how this works. I wouldn't give someone like that the time of day now because my inner self wouldn't put up with it for a minute. I wouldn't have a bit of attraction for someone like that now. But then I was, because he was reflecting back to me what I felt about myself. So less than 2 years after getting that job on Guiding Light, I lost the job. Because here's what happens. If you start telling yourself you're not enough, you're going to start showing up like the person who isn't enough. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I started showing up late or unprepared on some days, or some days just so insecure that it took everything in me just to step onto the set. Caveman 1, Modern Beth 0. It took me 5 years to come back from that. I had to do a lot of mental work to get back to who I knew I could be. And what happened? I got myself back on Guiding Light, and I was flying high. And then six years later, I fell again. The new producer told my agent I was too old at 41. And old Bam Bam came up, latched onto it, and started telling me I wasn't safe. And this time Bam Bam was screaming that the tigers were coming for me. And I started to make decisions out of fear. And listen, when you make decisions out of fear, that place in your brain, that is not the place where higher reasoning lives. It is the most primitive part of your brain. And it is the part that has that 200,000-year-old programming. You see, 200,000 years ago, if a saber-toothed tiger really was attacking, it was best that you didn't stop to marvel at how fast that tiger could move or gauge how soon he would get to you. It was best that you just moved yourself. So you didn't need the higher reasoning for that. It was best to just shut down. Now, you can take steps to get a better frame of mind. But here's what I discovered. Working with the mind alone is tough. And that's why my system is a three-pronged approach. It's mind, body, and a productivity system that keeps us moving forward. Well, back at 41, I was just trying to talk myself into improved confidence. In talking and trying to talk down my inner caveman, but I couldn't do it. Everything that had worked in the past wasn't working. All the books I had read, all the workshops, all the seminars I attended, it wasn't working for me now. Why? Well, in part because now I was more scared than ever. I had more to lose. I had a house I wanted to hang on to. I had a son I wanted to give a good life to. Bam Bam was in full control. And it took me 2 years, from 41 to 43, to understand that getting a strong body could help me fight back against Bam Bam. Then it took me another 18 years of experiences, workshops, books, a year-long program through Stanford's C-Care program designed by a neurologist, and thousands of dollars to finally learn to deal with Bam Bam and to be the master of my own journey. So if you're watching this, start working with your body. A strong body will increase your self-worth. A strong body will expand what primitive Bam Bam thinks you're capable of. And then you need a system that expands you beyond who you have been to who you want to be. Because here's what I discovered. Bam Bam doesn't just show up when you're about to do something bold. He shows up in your daily moments too. He shows up when you don't speak up because you don't want to be seen as difficult. He shows up when you're taking half measures toward a goal and calling it progress. He shows up dressed as the good girl, the one who puts everyone else's comfort above her own dreams. And I'm going to continue talking about this in future videos. I also have a free newsletter that I go over these subjects there. But for now, just know this. Bam Bam isn't going anywhere. He's been running the show for 200,000 years. But you can become the one who runs him.